Hey guys, here today showing you how to replace the front brakes, rotors and pads on a 2012 Hyundai Sonata. This is a 4-cylinder, 2.4 liter. It's the same as the 2.0 liter, doesn't really matter. This particular body style is from 2010 through 2014. Okay, what you'll need for this job is a 21mm socket to take the lug nuts off. You'll need a 17mm wrench to take the caliper bolts off the back. You could use a socket on the bottom one, but then you'll be switching between tools, so it's best to just get a 17mm. I just use a 17mm box-in wrench like this. You'll need a 14mm socket or wrench to take off the caliper bolts. You'll need a Phillips screwdriver to take off the retaining screws for the rotor. I just have mine attached to an impact. You gotta have to be careful when you take these off. It's probably easiest to put as much pressure on it as you can while turning it, that way you don't strip the screw. You'll need a flathead screwdriver, and you'll need a hammer, and you'll need some type of piston compression tool. I use this one. I have been using it for about 7 years. It works perfect. So the first thing you want to do is to remove the retaining screws for the rotor. They're just 2 Phillips. They come off pretty easily. And the next thing you want to do is to, I'm going to go inside and turn the wheel to the left so that way I have the caliper, as far out as possible so I can see what I'm doing. So I'm going to go ahead and do that. Okay, now that we got the wheel turned to the left, go on ahead and loosen up the 2 14mm bolts up top and one right here on the bottom to loosen up the brake caliper. Okay, after you do that, you go on ahead and just wiggle the caliper off like so. Now is a good time to just set it right here up on top like so. Go on ahead and pull out the old brake pads. You may need to use a flathead screwdriver to help you pull them out. You can just stick it in here and pry them out like that. Okay, after you get the pads out, you want to go ahead and set up your compression tool like so, using the old pad. Old pad goes right here, then the tool right here, you can go ahead and spin it and it'll compress the piston caliper back in, so that way you can get the caliper back on easy when you go to put the new pads on. Okay, now after you've got the piston compressed back into the slot, then you can go on ahead and focus on taking off the 2 17mm bolts that are located directly in back of the caliper. There's one right here on top, right where I'm pointing at, and then there's another one right on the bottom. They're 2 17mm. These are the only 2 bolts you'll see back here that are that's holding on this bracket here. So you can go on ahead and break those loose and completely remove them. I would like to note that before you take off this caliper, the two slide pins here that were the 2 14mm that are holding on the caliper, go on ahead and make sure that they still have plenty of play. You see this one up top is moves pretty easily, and same on the bottom. Go ahead and see if they have play in them. If they're stuck for some reason, you need to go ahead and pull them out and re-grease them. You simply just pull them straight out. The boot will come off as well. Then you go ahead and wipe off the grease and put on some new multi-purpose grease, like red grease or bearing grease. That's fine. I'm not going to do these because honestly these are fine, so I'm just going to leave them just like that. People might hate me for that, but it is what it is. And then going ahead and remove the caliper bracket. Now you can go on ahead and pretty much just remove the rotor off of the hub. Some cases these are rusted on, in which I suggest to take your lug nuts and screw them back onto the threads. Just hand tighten them on so that way you don't damage the threads. And what I like to do is to take a hammer and I'll hit the face of the rotor right here, not where the pads contact, but right here on the face. You give it a couple good whacks and it'll come off. This one is already loose, so I don't have to worry about that. Go ahead and just take it off. Then you'll go ahead and grab your new rotor, spray it with brake cleaner, and then go ahead and reinstall it. Make sure you note the location of the holes on the rotor, because you need to line the two holes up that accept the retaining screw. So I'm gonna go ahead and get the rotor. Okay, so as I was saying, you make sure you locate the holes correctly. As you'll see, there's two extra holes here and here. Those are for the retaining screw. You need to make sure you line them up with the small little holes that are on the rotor. Like so. Now you're going to go ahead and take the small retaining screws, the black ones, and screw them in to hold the rotor in place. Just like so. Now you're going ahead and slide the caliper bracket back on, put the two 17mm bolts back into place, and going ahead and tighten these two up. Okay, now you can go on ahead and get your new brake pads and slide them into place. And then you'll take the caliper and just slide it on top of everything and reinstall the two 14mm bolts that hold it on. And what I like to do is go on inside and step on the brakes. Make sure you build up the pressure and until they're hard, and then you can spin the wheel back around straight and put the wheel back on. After that, you're done. That's it. There's no more you need to do. If you have any comments or questions, please ask them in the comment section below. If this is your first time to the channel, thanks for stopping by. If you like this video, please hit the like button, and always don't forget to hit the subscribe button on your way out. Thanks, guys.